So continuing on with advertising, today I'm going to talk about free advertising. Obviously, great, it doesn't cost us anything. It does take a little bit of work, but it's free advertising, and who doesn't love anything that's free? So let's talk about where we can get free advertising. And the first form of free advertising is what we call a press release. Anytime you have any news about your business, if you win an award, get a highly commended certificate, you move location, or you hit some kind of business milestone, it's your first anniversary, your second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever, or you've broke your record on the number of weddings you've done in a year, or you've done some particularly crazy wedding that had some funky setting or funky clothing that people wear, and anything that's different, create a press release about it, right? And there's an excellent guide here in this link where it tells you how to structure a press release and what you put in it. And the idea of press release is to raise awareness of you as a company to local media. Now, where you send that obviously depends, because there's two reasons for press releases. One is for actual marketing, which is what we're talking about here, but you can also use a press release to help you get some backlinks for search engine optimization process, because your press release will have backlinks in the PDF file that you're going to send out, and companies will post these press releases as they are on the web, and you can get typically up to 100 backlinks from an SEO press release. You would have to use a distribution service for this, and the one that we use occasionally is called thehoth.com, and they have a press release service. Hoth is slightly more expensive than some other SEO companies out there, but they do a decent job, and they're quite kind of trusted to do kind of white hat SEO and not screw things around. However, I would add from a point of view of SEO purposes, the benefit of press release links is pretty low now for what it used to be. So I would just generally do it for a brand new site just to get some extra links in there. If your site's been established, I wouldn't do it at all for SEO purposes. But we do want to send it to local media. So you need to start to create a database of press contacts in your all the local papers, national photography magazines, bridal magazines. Find out who the editors are, who the writers are. There's maybe some freelancers out there. So anytime you go flicking through wedding magazines, find out who wrote that article, where to submit them, and start to make a database. And every time you get a press release, you send this out to people with a phone call and a follow-up, right? Now I've just done this for marketing for photographers, and I've had a call from Profoto magazine. They want to talk to me about it. So that's a national photography magazine, and hopefully with a little bit of luck we can get an article in there on the back of that press release. Other things you can do with local press is obviously you can send your wedding images. Now I don't know if your local paper does this, but most do. They'll publish wedding images of locals who got married in the area. It's quite an old-fashioned thing. It used to be done years ago, but it's still actually beneficial to you as a photographer, because your company name gets mentioned when the photographs are published. Now, nowadays, there's not. I mean, it used to be a big double-page spread you get in your local paper every single week. Now it's maybe once a month to do it, because photographers. See, back then, probably the people that were submitting those wedding photographs were probably the press photographers themselves. Now there's no press photographers really, so the papers don't get as many of these things submitted to them. But if you submit them, they will publish them. At one point we were the only local photographer doing this in our area, and every month we got a full page of free advertising with half a dozen wedding images on it. Everyone said photographed by Alan Hutchison Photography. The locals thought we were the only photographer in the area. It was great. So I really recommend it. And I touched on things like cross-marketing. If you've got a portrait studio, offer to do a local baby of the year, a pet of the year contest with a local paper. Get a local supplier involved, they can be the judge, and you can structure a competition about that. And again, free advertising, free awareness in your local papers and magazines. Another great promotional thing is a pre-wedding shoot. We gave a pre-wedding shoot away with every wedding that we did. And the reason being, I liked it because first it had value to it. We said this pre-wedding shoot was worth £300, right? We also told them they would get a sign-in frame as part of the pre-wedding shoot, where they'd have their favourite picture from the shoot with a matted white card frame round it that people could then sign at the wedding day. And we would put our little logo in the corner. So again, everybody at the wedding day came along, signed that signing frame, and they know exactly who that photographer was. So it was great advertising for us. And I say the cost to me was half-hour shoot. And I was getting them in the studio anyway, because I wanted to get the bride and groom back into the studio a few months before the wedding, just to recap what they were, the arrangements for the wedding day, all the planning, and it gave me another opportunity to upsell them, which we'll talk about in a lesson coming up. So it was the benefit of that pre-wedding shoot was great for them, but it was also great for me, right? For the sake of a half-hour shoot and half an hour editing, right? And it cost me physically was just the cost of that signing frame, which was probably about £50, right? So I factored that into my wedding cost, and this was a great thing. And from the pre-wedding shoot, we also made up these little business cards, right? And this would say on one side, this was all about the couple. To view Louise and Neil's wedding photographs, please visit our site, and they'll be available in 14 to 21 days after the wedding, and the password to access them is blah, blah, blah. And on the flip side of the business card was the photograph from the pre-wedding shoot. But it wasn't just one photograph. I would pick half a dozen of the best photographs. A pre-wedding shoot would do 20 photographs. I picked 20 of the best because in the set of, sorry, I didn't pick 20 of the best, I picked 6 of the best. Because in a set of 20, I've usually got some individual images of the couple on their own, but for these cards, I wanted the couple together. So I picked my 6 favourites, and I put them on the back of these business cards. And we would buy 50. We got them from moo.com. It cost us about £14, $20 at the time. And Moo would send these out to you in about a week. And what we did, we would say to the couple, when they came in after the pre-wedding shoot, and I'd show them a sample pack of these. I says, look, we usually get these done for a pre-wedding shoot, and because it's a way to tell your guests where they're going to see your wedding images. Now, is it okay if we put these on the wedding, the dinner tables at each placemat, kind of each placing? And 9 times, even more than that, 9 times out of 10, a couple say, oh yeah, that's a great idea. They love it, right? And the guests loved it as well, because I even had guests running around trying to collect all 6 different pictures, because they just thought they were so cute and a little reminder from the wedding day. So it was, again, a great way of raising awareness about you as a photographer on the wedding day, because most people never hear who it is. They just see a wedding photographer come along, he goes away again, and nobody even knew who he was or what company it was. This helps you get out. On occasion, a couple would say, well, we've got a really kind of refined view of what we want on the dinner table at the wedding breakfast, so I'd rather you didn't. We would say, well, will we put them beside the signing frame? Is that okay? That's fine. Right? I never had a single couple say they didn't want these. They were always very enthused by this idea for the cost of these cards. And let's face it, what you're using business cards for nowadays, this is a great way of using business cards, right? So I highly recommend that. Next form of free advertising is networking. And I always start the networking side with wedding venues, your favourite wedding venues. Once you've been in a place a couple of times, you get to know the staff, you know you like that venue, you know that venue gets the right type of couples for the wedding that suits your market, suits your price range. So you're going to ask if they would like a sample wedding album. Now, you're not going to just put one wedding in there, if you can. If you've done 2 or 3 weddings, make it a collage of the 2 or 3 different weddings you've done, so people can see a range of different images. And it shows an example, 2 things, example of quality of photography and also the quality of your album. So you put your best albums in there. This is going to cost you, 150, 200 quid. But that's 150, 200 quid for free advertising, because every time a couple comes in to look at that venue, the wedding planners will show them these wedding albums, right? Let me show you some photographs that a photographer did here. Let you see what the places we've got and how it looks in the photographs, right? And what you do is the only thing you change in the album, you have an opening page with your logo and contact details. And I used to put it on the front page and I used to put it on the back page. And it's basically like a magazine ad inside this wedding album that you do. And then you also ask to be on the preferred supplier list. Because remember what we said a couple of lessons ago, for search engine optimization purposes, backlinks are good, and if you can get on the preferred supplier list on the website that they've got, you get a free backlink. And you're also being recommended by them every time a couple comes in. Give them free images for their website. Just say, look, I was looking at your website, are you needing any new photographs? Because I've done a lovely image of the exterior of the building the last wedding I was here, and you want to see the one we did under the archway with this couple. It's just outstanding, and I think you would really benefit from having it on your website. Give them those images free. All you ask is, would you mind putting a little credit for us when you post them on your website? Image supplied by Alan Hutchinson Photography, with a link. See what we're doing? We're getting links again. And every time you blog or write up about a wedding venue on your website, you send them the link to that article so they can see it. Say, send the wedding planner an email. Hi Jane, John, whoever it is, I just written a new article about the wedding we did there last month. I thought you might like to have a look at it. And then just keeping your business in front of their eyes on a continual basis. Now here's a page that we would put in the wedding album, an example one. Very similar to what we do in our actual magazine advertising. Obviously it's formatted differently because it's wider, portrait layout. Same principles, AIDA, attention, interest, desire and action, on that advert. What else do we do in networking? Sorry, one other thing about the hotel venues and stuff. If they ever do wedding fairs, ask if you can come along to them. Now there might be a small charge, something's about £50 or something. Some places don't charge you anything. Get a stand there. It's a great way of getting in front of new couples as well. Some of them work well, some of them are complete washout. I always say if a venue is charging for a wedding fair, just forget it, because they always get a poor turnout. When it's a free wedding fair and people don't have to pay to get in, it usually works quite well. Just make sure you've got plenty of presentation materials, you've got something to hand out. You need a form of lead magnet, like we spoke about earlier, at your stand. What's going to attract them to your stand? You're going to give them away your goodie bag, are you giving away sweeties, or what are you doing? Get them something to attract to come to your stand and have a special offer available on if they arrange to schedule a meeting with you from that day. Right? So that's your form of lead magnet. So I do recommend wedding fairs. So back to networking. Make sure you work with your makeup artist, hairstylist, celebrant, master of ceremonies, videographer. Make friends with these people, right? You've got to work with, these are basically your work colleagues. They may change on a week-to-week basis, but they will become your work colleagues and you'll get to know them over the years. So become friendly with them. Whatever you do, try not to fall out with them. I know occasionally we'll bump up against somebody that just causes a bit of friction, but try and be their friends. Send them images from the wedding. Say, I've got some nice shots of you doing the hair and makeup, I'll send them across to you. You got your email address or you got a card or anything. Send them behind the scenes shots of them working, because they'll usually, like a makeup artist will usually just take a picture of the finished makeup once it's done of the bride, and it's usually a horrific image that they take in their phone. So you can, and it's usually badly lit, they've turned the bride against a window or something that just looks horrific. They're all backlit, and so you send them a lovely, nicely lit photograph of that. They'll love it, and then give them a shot of them actually doing the makeup, actually touched up. They'll love that, and you say, look, you can use them any way you want. Again, all I ask is you credit Alan Hutchinson Photography and give me a link back on your website. More links. If they are good and they match your kind of level of how you do weddings and the type of clients that they get, then say you'll add them to your referral list, your recommended supplier list, because typically a wedding photographer is one of the first things that gets booked after a venue, right? So you can, because we tend to get booked up quite far in advance, So you can say, look, people tend to come to us early in the process, so and we'll say, do you have you got anything else booked yet? Because I can let you know who we would recommend. So you can get them to say to them, I'll add you to my list. And of course, what's going to happen? They'll reciprocate in that. Other thing is, be amazing to the bridesmaids. Make them your best friends in the day. Just make such a fuss over them, right? Because usually there's sometimes a bit of friction between the bride and the bridesmaid, because the bride's been sitting getting pampered all morning and these bridesmaids are running around trying to sort her all out. But if you pamper the hell out of them, they'll remember you, and a lot of these bridesmaids will be planning their own wedding in years to come. So be amazing to them. Find 3 to 5 photographers in your area who match your quality of work and prices, right? Now that area might be that doesn't need to be your local town. That can be a county or it can be nationwide. In my case, it was nationwide, right? Because we were photographing weddings nationwide. We weren't a local wedding photographer. We were a nationwide photographer. So I always look for somebody whose price matched mine, and I was happy with the quality of work. Now, didn't have to be similar style, because I always felt my style is unique. Doesn't matter about the style, it's the quality of their work and the prices that they charge. Are you happy? And the way they work, and are they nice people? Because there's a few not so nice people in this industry. So, and what happens, any weddings that you can't do or you're already booked, you refer them to them and you let them know, right? Hi John, I've just sent an email to a couple. I've got looking for a wedding on 1st of July next year. I'm already booked, so I don't know if you're available, but I'll let them know about you anyway, right? And do the same with videographers, right? Refer videographers. Are you looking for a videographer yet? Have you got one booked? And create a list of videographers that you like. And they'll soon start to reciprocate, right? So if they do get booked earlier on before you, there's a chance that they'll pass details on to you. One photographer actually even sent me a huge food hamper, because we got on 5 new bookings in the space of a month, and he was just so delighted that this big food hamper turned up with champagne and all sorts. So it's just really, it just shows how they appreciated us helping them. And as I say, collaboration is always better than competition, right? We're a relatively small industry. We're all kind of 1-man, 2-man band businesses, where if we can collaborate with each other, it's much better than trying to compete and fight with each other. Just help each other out, because if we help each other out, each business then becomes more successful. Their prices can go up, and the whole industry's prices go up. So that's a little talk on networking and free advertising. I hope you got something from that. I'm sure you can find something there that you can use, and we'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you.